Nobody really knows how heavy this has been for you, because you learned how to hide it. You became skilled at carrying emotional pain quietly, skilled at smiling while your soul slowly became exhausted. People saw your routine. They saw your responsibilities. They saw the version of you that kept functioning. But they never truly saw the emotional weight hiding underneath your calm voice. And after a while, you stopped trying to explain it. Because how do you explain exhaustion that has been building inside you for years? How do you explain the loneliness of feeling emotionally unseen even when surrounded by people? How do you explain the pressure of surviving silently every single day? You carried this quietly. You carried it in crowded rooms. You carried it during conversations. You carried it while laughing. You carried it while helping everyone else. And little by little, your soul became tired in ways sleep could not heal. I saw every part of it. I saw the moments your smile faded the second nobody was looking. I saw the nights when your thoughts became too loud. I saw the hidden tears, the silent tears, the exhausted tears, the tears that came after holding yourself together for too long. You became so used to emotional survival that peace started feeling unfamiliar. You became so used to carrying everything internally that vulnerability began to feel dangerous. So instead of asking for comfort, you learned how to disappear emotionally. You learned how to say, "I am okay," even when your heart was breaking quietly. You learned how to comfort other people while secretly wishing someone would comfort you too. And nobody realized how exhausted you truly were. But I realized. I saw every hidden battle. Every moment you sat alone trying to hold yourself together. Every moment your chest felt heavy for reasons you could not explain. Every moment loneliness followed you home. I saw it all. And my child, you never had to carry this alone. You just became afraid that if people truly saw how overwhelmed you were, they would pull away. So you stayed quiet. You stayed careful. You stayed emotionally hidden. And eventually, you became invisible even to yourself. You stopped recognizing your own joy. Stopped recognizing your own peace. Stopped recognizing the version of you that once felt emotionally alive. Because survival slowly replaced rest. And emotional pressure slowly replaced peace. I know how lonely that became. To sit around people while feeling completely disconnected inside. To smile while secretly feeling numb. To answer messages while silently hoping someone would notice the sadness hiding behind your words. But nobody asked deeply enough. Nobody slowed down enough. Nobody truly saw how tired your spirit had become. Yet heaven saw everything. I saw the pressure you carried privately, the memories you never fully healed from, the disappointments that quietly changed your heart, the emotional wounds you learned to hide behind maturity. People called you strong, but they never realized how much pain your strength was hiding. You became the safe place for everyone else. But inside, you had nowhere to rest. And that loneliness exhausted you. There were nights when you felt emotionally trapped inside yourself. You wanted to explain the heaviness, but the pain had become too layered, too deep, too difficult to put into words. Because it was not only sadness, it was exhaustion, emotional exhaustion. mental exhaustion, spiritual exhaustion, the kind that slowly steals your hope, the kind that makes joy feel distant, the kind that makes your heart feel tired before the day even begins. I know. I was there for every silent breakdown, every hidden panic, every exhausted breath, every moment you locked yourself away just to cry privately. I heard the prayers you could not finish, the prayers that became silence, the prayers that sounded like, God, I don't know how much more I can carry. And still, I stayed. I stayed closed during every lonely night. I stayed closed during every anxious thought. I stayed closed when your emotions became too heavy to explain. I stayed close when disappointment convinced you that nobody would ever truly understand you. My child, you are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are a deep-life feeling soul who carried too much for too long. You became emotionally exhausted because you kept surviving without allowing yourself to be comforted. You became tired because you kept pouring love into others while your own heart quietly starved for gentleness. You became numb because you spent years trying to stay emotionally strong for everyone else. But I never asked you to destroy yourself in order to keep others comfortable. I never asked you to hide your sadness in order to appear strong. I never asked you to carry invisible pain all by yourself. And even now, while your heart still feels heavy, healing has already begun. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like morning light slowly entering a dark room, like warmth returning after a long winter, like breath returning to a tired soul. I am healing the hidden places, the hidden grief, the hidden loneliness, the hidden exhaustion, the hidden fear. The part of you that stopped believing emotional peace was possible. I know there were moments when you almost gave up emotionally. Moments when your soul felt too tired to keep hoping. Moments when disappointment became so familiar that you stopped expecting tenderness. But I never stopped holding you. Even during the nights you questioned your worth. Even during the days you felt emotionally numb. Even during the moments you felt forgotten by everyone around you. I was still there, closer than your fear, closer than your sadness, closer than the loneliness that followed you everywhere. And I need you to hear me clearly now. You do not have to keep surviving this way forever. You do not have to keep pretending you are okay. You do not have to keep hiding your wounds in order to deserve love. You matter too. Your heart matters too. Your exhaustion matters too. And the tears you cried privately mattered too. I saw every one of them. The tears that came from feeling misunderstood. The tears that came from emotional isolation. The tears that came from carrying invisible pain for too long. You carried this quietly, but you were never invisible to me. Never. I know you became afraid to express your emotions freely. Afraid of being too much. Afraid of being misunderstood again. Afraid of becoming emotionally abandoned. So you built walls around your heart. Not because you stopped caring, but because you became tired of hurting. And little by little, you learned how to survive without asking for help. But survival is not peace. And your soul has been longing for peace. Real peace. The kind that quiets the noise inside your mind. The kind that allows your heart to finally unclench. The kind that reminds you that you are safe again. That is what I am giving you now. Not all at once. Gently. Because your heart has been through too much. I am not rushing your healing. I am sitting with you inside it. I know there are still nights when sadness suddenly returns. Still moments when loneliness feels overwhelming. Still moments when emotional exhaustion makes everything feel heavy again. But healing is not the absence of struggle. Healing is learning that you no longer have to carry your pain alone. And you are not alone. Not tonight. Not in your sadness. Not in your exhaustion. Not in your hidden battles. I am here. And I am not leaving. You became so used to being emotionally strong that receiving comfort now feels unfamiliar. You became so used to surviving quietly that vulnerability feels unsafe. But I want to teach your soul how to rest again. I want to teach your heart that peace is still possible. I want to heal the part of you that became exhausted from constantly pretending to be okay. Because I know the truth. I know how tired you really are. I know how deeply loneliness wounded you. I know how many times you cried silently because you felt emotionally unseen. And I know how much strength it took for you to keep going anyway. There were mornings when you woke up already exhausted. Mornings when the emotional heaviness returned before the day even began. Mornings when your soul quietly whispered, "I don't know if I can keep carrying this." But somehow, you still got up, still moved forward, still survived another day. Do you know how much courage that required? Most people never saw the internal battles you fought every day. The overthinking, the emotional pressure, the hidden sadness, the constant fear of disappointing everyone, the loneliness of feeling emotionally disconnected from the world around you. But heaven saw every invisible battle, and heaven never looked away. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not too broken to heal. And even now, while your heart still carries pain, restoration is already beginning. Slowly, softly, deeply, like rain falling on dry ground, like light entering forgotten places, like warmth returning to frozen hands. I am restoring the parts of you that emotional exhaustion tried to erase. The tenderness, the hope, the softness, the ability to feel safe again. I know you became afraid of trusting peace, afraid of trusting people, afraid that every good thing would eventually disappear. Because disappointment taught your heart to stay guarded. But my love does not disappear when you become exhausted. My presence does not leave when you struggle emotionally. I move closer to weary souls, closer to broken hearts, closer to people who secretly feel alone. And right now, I am close to you, closer than the fear inside your chest, closer than the sadness that follows you at night, closer than the loneliness that convinced you nobody understood. I understand. I always have. I saw the nights when you cried without making noise. The nights when your thoughts became too overwhelming. The nights when emotional pain sat so heavily inside you that you could barely breathe. And still, you survived them, even when you thought you could not. My child, you have carried enough pressure, enough hidden pain, enough silent suffering, Enough emotional survival. You do not need to fight every battle alone anymore. You can rest here. You can breathe here. You can stop pretending here. You are safe with me. Safe to cry. Safe to feel exhausted. Safe to admit that your heart is tired. I am not disappointed in your weakness. I am not angry at your tears. I am not frustrated by your emotional struggles. I see how hard you tried, how long you carried invisible pain quietly, how often you comforted others while secretly needing comfort yourself. And I am proud of you for surviving seasons that almost broke you emotionally. You are still here, still breathing, still holding on, even after everything. That matters more than you realize. So tonight, rest your heart for a moment. You do not need to solve every fear tonight. You do not need to carry tomorrow tonight. You do not need to explain every wound tonight. Just rest. Let your soul sit in my presence. Let the pressure slowly leave your shoulders. Let the fear loosen its grip. Let your tired spirit breathe again. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are deeply loved. And the emotional heaviness you carry right now will not last forever. Peace is coming back. Softness is returning. Healing is unfolding quietly. And one day, you will realize that even during your darkest emotional nights, you were never truly alone. Not for a single moment. Because I was there, holding your exhausted heart through every silent battle, through every hidden tear, through every lonely prayer, through every moment you thought nobody noticed your pain. I noticed. I always noticed. And I always will. And there were moments when you became so emotionally tired that even small things felt heavy. Small conversations. Small disappointments. Small reminders of how alone you secretly felt. Your heart had been carrying pressure for so long that even silence started feeling overwhelming. You would sit there quietly, thinking, replaying memories, replaying conversations, wondering why you always felt like you had to hide the deepest parts of yourself, wondering why it felt so difficult for people to truly understand your heart. And eventually, you stopped expecting understanding completely. You learned how to emotionally survive without it. You became independent in sadness, independent in grief, independent in emotional pain. But my child, you were never created to suffer silently forever. I know you became used to carrying invisible sadness, used to acting normal while secretly feeling exhausted, used to pretending your heart was not hurting. But I saw what nobody else saw. I saw the loneliness behind your kindness. I saw the exhaustion behind your patience. I saw the sadness hidden behind your calm voice. And I know there were nights when you wanted somebody to simply sit beside you and say, "You don't have to carry this alone anymore, Zeh." So many people expected strength from you. But very few people noticed when your own soul needed tenderness. That wounded you deeply, because your heart was always giving, always understanding, always trying. Yet inside, you often felt emotionally abandoned. You often felt unseen. And after enough disappointment, your spirit slowly became tired of hoping. But I never stopped hoping for you. I never stopped believing healing would reach you. even when you emotionally withdrew, even when sadness became your normal, even when your mind became heavy with fear and overthinking. I stayed close, closer than your anxiety, closer than your exhaustion, closer than the emotional pain you could not explain to anyone else. And right now, I am still close, still protecting your weary heart, still holding you together in ways you cannot yet see, still speaking peace over the parts of you that feel emotionally shattered. I know there are wounds inside you that nobody knows about. Wounds created slowly, not through one moment, but through years of emotional loneliness, years of feeling like you had to hide your pain, years of trying to stay emotionally strong while secretly breaking inside. You became tired of pretending, tired of masking emotions, tired of acting okay when your heart desperately needed rest. And I need you to understand something tonight. Your exhaustion does not scare me. Your sadness does not push me away. Your emotional struggles do not make me love you less. I am not disappointed in your weakness. I am compassionate toward it, because I know how much you endured silently. I know how many battles you fought privately. I know how many times you cried where nobody could hear you. And I know how badly your soul needs peace. That peace is coming. Slowly. Deeply. Gently. Like calm rain after a violent storm. Like soft light returning after endless darkness. Like warmth touching a frozen heart. You will not always feel this emotionally exhausted. You will not always carry this heaviness. You will not always feel alone inside your own thoughts. I am restoring your inner world, restoring your ability to breathe without fear, restoring your ability to trust peace again, restoring your ability to feel emotionally safe. And although healing feels slow sometimes, it is still happening. Every time you choose to keep going, every time you allow yourself to rest, every time you stop hiding your pain from me, healing is happening, even now, even in silence, even in exhaustion, even while your heart still aches. Because I am working gently inside the deepest broken places. I am healing the parts of you that learned to expect abandonment. Healing the parts of you that became afraid of vulnerability. Healing the parts of you that secretly believed nobody would ever truly stay. I am staying. And one day your soul will fully realize that my presence never left you. Not during the tears. Not during the numbness. Not during the lonely nights. Not during the moments you almost gave up emotionally. I was there through all of it, holding you, protecting you, loving you quietly through every hidden battle. So breathe again tonight, slowly, gently, without pressure, without pretending, without trying to carry the entire world on your shoulders. You have carried enough, and now your soul is learning how to rest again. Your soul is learning that it does not have to stay trapped in survival forever. Your soul is learning that peace is still possible. And my child, peace is coming closer than you think. The heaviness will not own your future. The loneliness will not define your life forever. The emotional exhaustion will not destroy the beautiful heart I created inside you. I am restoring you day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath. And one day, you will feel the warmth of joy return again. Not forced joy, not fake smiles. Real peace, real rest, real emotional safety. Because I am leading your tired heart out of survival and into healing. And I will stay with you through every step of that restoration. Always. And there are still parts of your heart that feel tired from carrying memories nobody knows about. Memories you rarely speak about. Memories that still quietly ache inside you. The moments when people disappointed you. The moments when your kindness was taken for granted. The moments when you felt emotionally abandoned while pretending you were okay. Those moments stayed with you. Even after the conversations ended. Even after the people moved on. Your heart remembered. And because your heart remembered, you slowly became more guarded, more quiet, more emotionally careful. You stopped expressing certain emotions, stopped revealing certain wounds, stopped expecting people to truly understand the depth of what you carried. But I understood. I understood every silent reaction, every hidden disappointment, every painful memory that returned at night when the world became quiet. I know there are nights when your mind refuses to rest. Nights when overthinking keeps your spirit awake. Nights when your chest feels heavy with emotions you cannot fully explain. And during those moments, you